Hey guys, in this video, we're going to look at your thoracic rotation, because if you have a lack of mobility there, then that might contribute to the pain in your low back, because your low back then has to compensate for it, and it's actually not made for a lot of rotation. When we look at movements like walking or running, almost all the joints in our body have to rotate in a way. Some more, some less, but it's all about rotation of the joints in our body. And when there's like a lack of mobility in some parts of your body, then other parts have to compensate for it. Especially when it comes to a thoracic spine, if you can't really rotate your thoracic spine, and when you walk, it doesn't really rotate much and you have a restriction here, then the low back usually has to compensate for it. And if you look at the vertebra of the low back, they're very thick and they are not made for a lot of rotation. They can bend forward and back perfectly, but they're not made for a lot of rotation. So we want to look at your thoracic rotation now and test to see if you have a lack there of mobility, and if you do so, then increasing the rotation of your thoracic spine can help to spare your low back. So let's start by getting into a staggered stance here, where one foot is in front of the other. So your back toe is touching your heel, and you first have to kind of stabilize in this position. If this is not possible for you, if you get out of balance here and you can't really stand upright, then just go with the regular hip width stance. But this version is a little bit harder and a little bit more accurate. So what you do is you now have your arms out to the side with your palms facing forward, and you want to rotate to the side where your foot is in front. So your arms are completely stretched out to the side, and you now rotate your body over and bring this hand all the way to touch the other hand. If you're able to do that, then you pass the test. If not, if you can't really go all the way, or you feel like you lose balance, then you didn't pass the test. You then repeat it on the other side. Same here, one foot in front of the other. And now you rotate to the other side. Make sure it's the side where the foot is in front. And then same here, you try to go all the way. Bring this hand over to the other one, and always make sure that you don't bring this arm forward. That would be cheating. So keep it completely straight and in line with your shoulder here. And then see, can you touch your hand on that side? If not, then you might want to work on your rotation in your thoracic spine, especially. It can also be the hips, but we're going to look at the thoracic spine first now. So go and get down on the floor, get into a quadruped position, and you have one elbow on the floor, and you now want to rotate with this side all the way up. So have your fingers behind your ear and bring your elbow all the way up, and then come down again. To make it a little harder, you can scoop your hips back and sit back, because that one is really taking out the low back here, and it's only now coming from your thoracic spine, or let's say way more than from the low back. And you try to go a little further with each time you do it, and make sure you're breathing while you're doing it. Go for 10 to 12 repetitions on each side. And you then can also go and grab a stick, can be a broomstick or whatever you have. And you now want to go and do the same thing, but with a little rotation to the other side. So again, sit back if you can, and then you reach through as far as possible, and then you rotate all the way up again. Make sure your eyes follow your hand, so Really rotate your head as well. And then go as far as you can. Each time you do it, you try to get a little farther. And then you switch side, do the other side. 10 to 12 repetitions. And then we want to integrate it into a total body rotation again. You can do that with or without the stick. Without the stick, what we're going to do is you stand hip width apart, have your fingers behind your ears again, breathe in, and then you rotate all the way over to one side. You then bend down, come up again, and then try to rotate even further, bend and come up and rotate. And you will see each time you do it, you can go a little further. Even though you thought you were at your maximum range already, but every time you bend and come up, you can rotate a little further and further. So go for 10 to 12 repetitions and then do the same thing on the other side. And if you feel like you have an imbalance here, if one side is easier to rotate to than the other side, then make sure you do the harder side at least twice as much, if not even 3 times as much, to kind of even it out, so that you can bring more balance into your body and especially into your thoracic spine and your hips, so that your low back doesn't have to compensate for it that much anymore. And that will help you with your back pain, or just in general with feeling lighter and having more efficient movements in your everyday life.